What's up everyone, this is Kefren, your favorite French Canadian. Today we're diving into the ANBERNIC RG40XX H for horizontal, the latest addition to ANBERNIC's lineup of a budget handheld. If you've been following their release, you might notice this device feels like a continuation of the RG35XX H, but with a few tweaks and upgrade. For under $70, the RG40XX offer a lot of value for retro gaming enthusiasts looking for a budget-friendly option. So let's get into what makes this handheld tick and where it shine and where it could use some improvement. So what is the ANBERNIC RG40XX H? For those unfamiliar, it's a retro handheld console designed for classic gaming enthusiasts. Think about like Game Boy, NES, Super NES, N64, and even some high-end emulation. The device itself is portable, feels fairly solid, and comes with a nostalgic design that arc back the early days of handheld gaming. But that doesn't mean it's just for nostalgia. The performance and feature of the RG40XX H actually quite modern in some respect, even if it doesn't seem that way at first glance. First off, the design. This time ANBERNIC went with a more curved look, ditching their usual square-off design for something that feels more natural in the end. It reminisces of the TrueMe Smart Pro, and honestly the comfort level is a huge win. The device is super lightweight at just like 205 grams, and the curved shell fits comfortably in your hand, making those long gaming sessions more enjoyable. It's thin, it's just like 1.6 centimeter thick, which add to that slick portable feel. I also really appreciate the build quality here. ANBERNIC is known for producing solid devices, and the RG40XX hold up to that standard. Now let's talk about the screen. We're looking at the 4-inch IPS display with a resolution of 640 by 480, which is perfect for retro games that run on the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's sharp, it's vibrant, and really makes those classic titles pop. However, there's one issue I've noticed. It's the small light bleed. Just like some other ANBERNIC models, there's a small bit of light bleed in the top left corner. It's not a deal breaker, honestly, but if you're someone who's picky about display, it might catch your eyes. Honestly, I always have those issues even with my PC monitor because it's an IPS screen. Bleeding is always an issue. One thing I did notice also about the button and control is that the D-pad could be a little better. It's responsive enough, but during long play session, it's not the most comfortable to use. If you're into fighting game, you might find it a bit stiff for those fast-paced input. As for the analog stick, they're really solid and feature customizable LED backlighting, which is a cool little addition. The trade-off is that the stick have slightly less range of movement, so if you're into racing or game that needs more precise control, you might feel it. For most players though, this won't be an issue. But on the flip side, the shoulder buttons are well placed and the face button have a satisfying click to them. Overall, it feels sturdy enough to handle being thrown into a bag for travel, but it's not exactly premium either. For the ports and the battery, looking around the device, you got the usual port like the USB-C for charging, micro HDMI for output, and the 3.5mm headphone jack at the bottom. It's nice to see that you have the dual SD card slot, one for the OS and one for the ROMs, which make it really easy to load up games. The speakers are pushed in perfectly to avoid being obstruct, and they pump out a decent sound for the device size. Also, the battery life is another strong point here. You're getting a 3200 milliamp battery, so it's about like 5 to 6 hours of gameplay on a single charge. For an handheld at this price point, honestly, that's pretty solid. It supports also USB to USB charging too, which is a convenient feature if you're already got that setup going on. Performance-wise, the RG40XX is powered by the all-winner H700 chip paired with 1GB of LPDDR4 RAM. This setup handles more retro games really well, whether you're playing a Game Boy, Mega Drive, N64, Dreamcast easily. PSP can be a struggle. I will talk a little bit later. The 4:3 aspect ratio is ideal for most of these older games, and the device power is enough to run them smoothly. That said, you're going to hit some limitation when trying to push it. For an example, more demanding PSP games like God of War will struggle, and you will see frame drops when things get intense. Honestly, forget about PS2 and GameCube on this device. And also, the 16:9 games also won't fill the screen entirely, so you will have some black border, which might be a turn off for some. Dreamcast games, far better, honestly, with most of them running smoothly, bearing a few hiccups, and a very fast-paced title like Crazy Taxi. For the comfort and ergonomics, one of the highlights of this device is just how comfortable it is to use. I have a lot of like different form factor with the same chip, and honestly, right now I'm just using this console. It's pretty nice. With its lightweight design and round edges, I can easily play for hours without feeling any strain in my wrists or fingers. The D-pad placement and stacked shoulder buttons make it feel very natural to navigate through games, especially when you're deep into a long session. Now onto a more critical point, the user experience. This is where ANBERNIC constantly, for me, dropped the balls, and the RG40XX is no exception. The menu system feels outdated. You're greeted with a simple text on a black background, almost like you're stepping back into like Windows 95 area. You have RetroArch pre-installed, but I'm not a huge fan also of the menu of RetroArch. Honestly, the interface is just lacking. It's functional, but I think ANBERNIC needs to put more effort into creating a more polished, user-friendly experience. So now let's talk about the pros and cons. First of all, the build quality is solid for a retro console in this price range. The screen is bright and vibrant, perfect for retro gaming. It handles most older systems like a champ, especially for like NES, Super NES, PS1, N64. The buttons, while not perfect, are generally responsive and satisfying to use, and it's very portable and travel friendly. For the cons, the D-pad could definitely be improved, especially for a longer play session. The UI is functional but clunky, it's not as user-friendly as I'd liked, and performance dip on demanding emulation, especially on the PSP, can be a big con for you. So what's my final take on the ANBERNIC RG40XX H? Overall, I really enjoy my time with it. It's a solid retro handheld that delivers on most of its promises. If you're primarily interested in NES, Super NES, I don't know, PS1, N64, Dreamcast, this thing will serve you well. The screen is great, the build quality is solid, and it's portable enough to throw it in your bag for a quick session on the go. That said, if you're expecting flawless performance across more demanding system, you will need to manage your expectation. It's not a powerhouse by any means, but for what it is, it's priced at, it does the job very well. So if you're someone who loves retro gaming, if you're looking for an handheld console that can handle most of the classic, the ANBERNIC RG40XX is definitely worth considering. Just don't expect it to replace a modern gaming device and handle those high-end emulator. But for what it does, it's doing it pretty well. So this is pretty much it, guys. If you have any question about this console, just comment in the YouTube section. I also have a lot of different ANBERNIC consoles, so if you want to compare them, just ask. I will try to help you the best that I can. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.